Good morning, everybody. It is everybody in the house and everybody online. It's a little different for our roundtable this morning. We are doing it actually in the morning time instead of in the evening. But either way, it's a special roundtable that we're having this morning. And like always, I am your host and co-moderator, Rodney Butler. And over to the end of the table is my co-host this morning, Kevin Evans. And in the middle is our special guest. Ms. Tarenia Carthan, she is the Vice Chair and the District 3 Commissioner for the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. And we are going to be discussing some topics that are very near and dear to the community and very near and dear to Commissioner Carthan this morning. And we are going to jump right into the discussion. And good morning, Commissioner. How you doing?
Morning. I'm
Good,
great.
great.
How are y'all?
We're doing good. Um, we're going to go right into community health. One of the issues, or one of the concerns that a lot of people in the community is having right now is community health. It's one of the top things that I hear when I'm out talking to people as well. And we just want you to reassure the community that community health is a top priority, not only for you but for the Board of Commissioners as a whole.
Yeah, so a great question. When we talk about community health, we're talking about the health and wealth of the entire Douglas County, right? So um, you can't have a safe community if you don't have a healthy community, right?
That's right.
And that means mentally, that means physically, and that also means fiscally, right? How we invest our dollars. And so it's really your dollars because you're the one who's paying property taxes and you're the one who are paying, those penny sales tax when you go into the stores, right? So those are all the things that help to make up the Board of Commissioners budget that we allocate to different departments and how we invest in those small 501c3s, nonprofits, and other community partners that we have. And so, one of the ways that Douglas County has invested in some of the community health is through our CSB board. Um, we have allocated probably more than, I would say, about 1.2 million into the Community Services Board. And that really helps us on all aspects. We have veterans in the county who need those support services, right? We don't have a VA in the county. We don't have one of those satellite offices. And although we really need it because we have a large veterans population, how could we help them? We help them through the CSB. Last year, Douglas County invested in the CSB, and they actually cut the ribbon on a veterans village right in the heart of downtown Douglasville. Now, that was not easy because we had to help our city council, and they're not in here today, but we had to help them to see that we did need that village right there. And although that is not our jurisdiction, it is the city's jurisdiction. They came around and they saw the need, and they did help to facilitate getting a permit so that the Veterans Village could be there. That's your tax dollars at work.
Yes.
Um, we also know that mental health or behavioral health touches every part of our county, right? It touches our children, it touches us as individuals. And so, what Douglas County did was we invested almost, I want to say about $900,000 or more. And that's one of the main initiatives of your District 2 Commissioner, Kelly Robinson, right here, who's getting ready to do his, I think it's eighth annual mental health forum. So that's a huge thing, right? Because we know if we can help to curb some of the behaviors that get people caught up in unhealthy situations, whether it's they're trying to, I guess, mask some of what they're feeling by abusing drugs, by abusing one another through domestic violence. If we can help quell that, then we help to keep them out of the system and we help to keep them out of the hair of Sheriff Pounds, right? Who will incarcerate them. And where does he get that money to incarcerate them from? He gets it from where? From us, right? So we're paying one way or another. So I'd rather for us to be preventive as opposed to getting them in the system and having to perpetuate them because now they can't contribute to the system the way that you and I have. So if we can do that preventively, right, we've helped to make sure that that individual or that family becomes productive, right? We help them, right, to be able to cope with any of their ailments, right? And that's behavioral health, that's mental health, that's helping to keep our community safe and well and healthy. So those are some of the initiatives that Douglas County Board of Commissioners has put in terms of dollars and cents to help us to have a healthier and wealthier community.
Great. And but yeah, it's definitely has been a concern, and I hope that everything you said kind of quelled, letting the community know. Kevin, I think you have the next.
Okay, thank you. First off, I want to say, Commissioner, I want to thank you and the Board of Commissioners for all the work you guys are doing, despite all the craziness that's going on. I want you to know we got your back, your front, your left, and your right side. Huh? I thought I was speaking too loud. Okay. What I'm here to talk about is the quality of life, because we know that the price of living is going up and the chance of living is going down.
Ooh.
Can you talk to us and walk us through safety and housing?
Yes. So one of the issues that I know from my Douglas County Democrats, and especially Miss Mickey Medina, is that we need housing, and we need affordable and attainable housing. Amen. So but it's hard, right? Because anytime a developer comes before us, there are always people who say, "Not in my backyard." We call them the NIMBA people, not in my backyard. And so we had a developer about 2 weeks ago at the last planning and zoning development meeting that came before us, and he wanted to do senior housing. And he had come before us before, and I mean, droves of people showed up, and we did not vote it in. Well, of course, I heard from a lot of you, why would you do that? Why would you not? And I didn't get that housing for our seniors was that important. I didn't get it. Although I love my seniors, I had no idea. So, of course, he comes back a year later. He puts in his application, and he takes myself and, at that time, Commissioner Mitchell to see one of the developments that he wanted to put in Douglas County. And that development was absolutely beautiful, right in Villa Rica. So he comes back, he puts in his application, and droves of people came out again. When I tell you, it was probably more people that are sitting in here this morning. And a lot of those people were us. And when I say us, I mean us, like middle age, right? You're just one step away from being in senior housing because you can't live in that 4,000 or 5,000 square foot house that you got sitting on Chapel Hill forever. They didn't think like that, y'all. They just did not want it in their backyard. And one of the conversations, actually, a lot of the conversation was, we don't want that element of affordable housing where we are. I felt just like that. I couldn't believe that that was their sentiment. And Commissioner Robinson and I are sitting there, and he's smirking now like, well, wait a minute. Just 20 years ago, they didn't want someone who looked like me in their backyard. So now you're saying you don't want somebody who is a senior citizen, who has contributed to this community, who has lived here, who has paid taxes, who has helped to develop this community, and now have transitioned to another part of their life. You don't want them in your backyard? They helped to create that backyard that you're sitting in. So, of course, Commissioner Robinson and I voted it up, and your District 4 commissioner voted it down. Now, I don't have anything against Mark Alcaraz, but he came to me saying that he wants a senior center in his community. I'm all for a senior center, but guess what? I'm more for senior housing because I think my seniors want a place to live, probably more than they want a place to visit.
Exactly.
So it did pass, and we will have senior housing in District 3, 64 beautiful units, and they will be right off of Stewart Mill. So.
Great.
I think the word affordable housing gets the bad connotation because they associate that with a class of people, and that's
Exactly.
genetics.
Yeah, exactly. And really all it means is this is the housing that I can attain based on the income that I have. Because as seniors, right, your income is limited. It is what it is, but you've already paid into the system. So why not have a decent, nice place to live where you've created, right, a living environment for everybody else? You don't want to leave your friends. Thank you, Miss Medina, for telling me. You want it to be where people you know, right? And that's what it's all about. So, thank you for helping me to see. But again, just like y'all have my front and back, I have y'all front and back. We have communication.
Right.
We build relationships so that we know you guys are our eyes and ears on the Board of Commissioner. We can't be everywhere, but you are. So
Right.
thank you.
Free, we're going to be taking questions at the end. Yeah, I will definitely contribute to that conversation because I'm one of the ones that's directly affected by that.
Me too.
I want to point you out.
No. It's cool because I think there's people who are affected by that who are listening this morning, and I want to reassure them of some things. So, it was two concerns about that senior complex. One concern was value of the homeowners, the houses that would that would primarily drop about 2% maybe of your house home value. The other one was road. Primarily the people that live in Chapel Hills, especially Stewart's Creek right down the street. That is the property value wasn't the key thing. It was the road, Stewart Mill Road, and getting in and out of the neighborhood and all the congestion and everything. So, and that was my concern personally was the road. Is there any plan to do anything? Maybe looking in the future about widening. I mean, we got the widening here. We
I
got
was
the
about to
widening.
say.
Yep. Yeah, but going the other way, going towards Chapel Hill Road.
Towards Chapel Hill Road. So here was my thing, and I explained this to you, and I
Yep.
think you got it. 64 seniors, probably not every senior is driving. You will have less traffic with 64 senior housing than you would if you had 64 single family living housing, where you would have 2, 3, and 4 cars at a house. I know at my house we got 3 cars, right? I'm pretty sure at a seniors complex you probably have maybe 1 car, if that, for every senior. So it would not add to the congestion. But to answer your question in regards to infrastructure, it costs. Commissioner Robinson is the chair of our
Yeah.
transportation. I think for every mile, we're talking about how much, Commissioner Robinson? $200,000 for every mile to construct, right? To widen, right? So I can tell you the SPOS dollars are at work for what you see on Stewart Mill right now. But to widen going up to Chapel Hill and on Chapel Hill, which we really need it widen. I live right off Chapel Hill. I know I get in that.
Yeah.
I get in that traffic. You're talking probably over $100 million just to do Chapel Hill Road, right? So it's very costly, and who pays for that? We do. So we have to plan for that. There are ways to get it done. I'm not saying you can't. There are mechanisms such as a T-SPLOS that we probably will have to educate all of us on, and we have to go educate our neighbors, right? But that's another penny sales tax that we would have to implement to handle this congestion. So
Yeah, and I know throughout the entire Metro Atlanta area, the population is kind of outgrowing the infrastructure. So it's an issue everywhere. But I do want to reassure all the people in Chapel Hill that our commissioner, District 3, she lives. You have to live in the
have to
district,
live
so
in the
she got to deal with the same thing that we deal with. So while we're pulling our hair out about about the roads and the population, everybody want to come to Douglasville and Douglas County because of what we're doing. But it's the infrastructure have to catch up with the population. So she's pulling her hair out too. So I just want to let all my fellow Chapel Hillians or whatever we are know that is the deal.
that's true.
Thanks for that, Commissioner, and Commissioner Robinson. Thanks for your brilliant breakdown at the meeting. I learned a lot about the cost of roads. I got a lesson that day, but I appreciate it. All right, so the next topic, Commissioner, is work and economic development. Now we kind of hit a little bit into it when we were just talking, but if you could just expound on that a little bit more, because it's another big concern in the community as well.
Right. So yesterday I was at the Elevate Douglas quarterly meeting, and they hired a consultant. Actually, it was EY Ernst and Young, and they did a survey and a study within the community just to kind of find out, what is it that citizens and stakeholder, other small businesses really want and need within the community in regards to economic development. And one of the things that kept coming up, you guys, was that there is no one place in Douglas County where you can go to get all of your resources met. There is no one central place. Everybody is siloed. You go here for, behavioral health. You go here if you need assistance with housing. You go, one place for workforce development. But it would be great if we housed all of that in one central location so that people, wouldn't have to go all over. And some of these places are off the beaten path. And if you are not connected, you don't even know that Douglas County has it, right? And so, how do you get to it? How do you access it, even if we give it to you? So that's one of the things that I'm hoping that the Board of Commissioners can work to bring into place, because it'll help us all. One of the things that I really want us to do in order to help us with our security and the sheriff's office, and especially with our teams, y'all, we had just last year, we had 847 babies delivered to teams in Douglas County.
Wow.
That's a lot, right? For a suburban county, that's a lot. So that tells me that we are not giving our teen girls and our teen boys, because they're not getting pregnant by themselves, outlets, right? So what do we need to do? Well, Douglas County doesn't have a summer program. I came up in Atlanta, and one of the things that we had was you could get jobs as a teenager, right? Or you could go to Upward Bound at Morris Brown College, and you can get a little stipend. And those types of things really helped me to understand money management and understand how you have to show up to work on time. And it gave me those skill sets that I'm now using today as your commissioner, right? Those started when I was a teen. How do we put that back into our community that we're living in right now? So one of the things I want to do in terms of workforce development is get a teen summer program here in Douglas County. Now, the Douglas County Board of Commissioners, we do have internships, right? Commissioner Robinson was interviewing his on yesterday. So we do put aside a small amount, but I think we could do a lot more, because it will only benefit us all in the long run. So workforce development, we gotta do better with that. The schools are a help. I know Superintendent North has worked with Economic Development, Chris Pumphrey and Breezy, in order to do a workforce development program that's 2 weeks with the juniors and seniors who exercise that option. I know we have West Georgia, West Central Tech here in our backyard. So there are a lot of opportunities that we can better utilize and better make partnerships with, so that we can invest in our youth and have a better, broader workforce development. The only way that we continue to get these lion gates, that y'all have heard of, and we just cut the ribbon on the Norma Group, which is a huge manufacturing plant here in Douglas County, is we have a workforce that will be able to sustain those who are coming to us. And so if we, invest in our pipeline of youth now, then we'll have a bigger bang for our buck if we make sure that we put workforce development into our youth as one of our number one initiatives. So I'm hoping my Board of Commissioners will see fit to help me with that.
Expounding just a little bit. Okay, so we're talking about the youth. What are some of the things that we're doing as far as keeping our younger professionals, here in Douglas County? And I know housing. I know it may go back to housing a little bit and different things like that. But I do want for the young professionals out there to know that the Board of Commissioners are thinking about them and are doing things to keep them from having to commute and all that stuff.
So one of the things we don't have is we don't have housing that my daughters are, in their 20s, and and we just don't have the type of housing that they want. My babies don't want to cut a yard. They're not keen on cleaning up, a 3,000 and 4,000 square foot house. They just want somewhere where they can do a podcast, invite some of their little friends over, and they just want to have a place to sleep. They don't want what I got, what I think is grand. They don't want their mindset is so different. They rather use their money to travel and use their money for experiences than putting it on a mortgage. I ain't mad at them, right? So, but we have to create that environment that wants to keep them here. Right. So that's one of the things that we have to do a better job of doing that. We have to invest in different types of housing that would attract that audience, or those young professionals that you're talking about. So I must admit, we got to do a better job.
Yeah, because they are very important.
They are.
The young professionals, they're the heartbeat of the community. And so, but hey, we're working.
We're working.
But one of the things I think we need, that perhaps could help, is you have to have things here that they want to do.
Yeah.
because they got to travel to Atlanta to go eat, to go party, and all that kind of stuff. They need something here in Douglasville, that they can, or Douglas County, that they'd be willing to stay and do.
That's true. So that's a two-edged sword,
Yes, a two-edged
right?
sword.
Yeah.
A lot of people love living here, and they go into the city to do their play, right?
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people who like it like that, right? And there are a lot of people who are in leadership who like it like that and won't always vote to change zoning to allow certain things to come because they keep saying we don't want that element, right? Not thinking about, well, if you don't attract the young professionals, this county may die off. And if you don't want your investment, right, not to appreciate. So we have to do a better job of getting that entertainment or those activities that will invite that younger crowd. I have to give kudos to Mayor Robinson and City Council. They are creating that district where they're going to have the amphitheater, right? And so that will do some creating of younger people who will be drawn to that, right? And they do have some housing in that development. So I'm excited to see what that will spawn, right? And then hopefully the county can take some cues from that, right? We're gonna let them go and do what they do, and then we'll come after them and check some boxes, right? We'll let them make the mistakes behind them, but that's that's exciting.
Yeah, it's going to take a dual effort on the part of the county and the city. But like you said, the mayor is really doing some things to just
To attract.
the downtown and what they're doing there. So really appreciate that.
Hey, one more follow-up question.
Yes, sir.
In terms of workforce development, I know you're talking about doing things for kids to get them involved and stuff. In this day and time, seniors are needing work. So what kind of things are we going to be doing to get seniors some additional money?
Oh, wow. Oh, I've never been asked that question. So you're talking about reskilling our seniors.
The people just sitting around the house doing
Just sitting
nothing,
around the house.
but the bills are still going up.
True. Okay, so are you suggesting that we should start a committee that you will head up that will?
Look at the time.
He talked his way right into it. You got to be careful talking to the commissioners, man.
Okay.
But that's a
No,
good point, right? Because a lot of our seniors can use a computer, and I honestly work from home, right?
Right.
I actually don't have to go into office to do what I do. So you're right. There is the possibility that if you are computer literate, you can make money from your home, and that is a way that our seniors can help to meet those needs of those rising costs of bills. So okay, I hear you. Yes, I did. I heard you, and that's something that we can do. We can look at that. And I know senior services, Dr. Gilchrist is huge in ensuring that the seniors have some of the things that they need. So I can definitely get with Dr. Gilchrist, the senior services, and ask her how can we, help to meet that need. And I'm gonna give her your name now.
Oh, no.
All right.
My phone don't work.
All right, Kevin, you got the last topic, and then after the last topic, we're gonna go and take questions from the audience. Okay, but our last topic, go ahead, Kevin.
My last topic is SPLOS. Can you speak to what SPLOS does, what it's going to do, what we're looking forward to do?
Absolutely. So thank you to the citizens who decided that last November you would re-up the SPLOS. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all just don't know how much that really helps us. In the 2022 SPLOS, we will have 4 categories. It will be transportation, parks, recreation, facility, and the number 1 was public safety. And so it'll help our sheriff to get cars and other equipment that he so desperately needs. And of course, transportation, right? Many of you, I think some of you in here sit on the transportation or paratransit board. So you're helping us with that. Parks and Rec, library. One of the things I ran on when I ran back in 2018 was a library for my district, and not just a library, but a place where citizens can come and retool, reskill STEM. I'm big in STEM. All my girls went to school on STEM, scholarships. So I'm huge on that. I know it can change a life. I'm an inner city, child, so I didn't have much growing up. But because, my grandmother instilled in me to get an education, it totally changed my life. I would not be where I am had I not listened and had not somebody poured into me. So that's one of the things I want to do with the library, the Chill Chapel Hill Innovative Learning Library that will be coming soon because you all helped to put it into motion. So thank you for that. And then we will also have so transportation. What am I missing? Oh, facilities. Facilities. So our coroner needs an updated facility badly, so that will be on the list, along with some other things. So yes, the 2022 SPOS will help, and it will also help a little bit with roads. But again, going back to roads, that is a hefty price, and so we will have to do something else in order to address our road situation, the potholes, the infrastructure. We've got to update a lot, and so it's going to take a lot. Our past administration, that was not their priority, and we're all feeling that. Again, the congestion, the widening of the roads. So this administration is going to have to, make some hard decisions, and I hope you guys will help us in doing that, so that 5, 6, or 7 years from now, when somebody else is sitting in this chair, y'all still won't be talking about roads.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to get ready to go into questions, but I want to just, Maurice, if you can, Kevin, if you can give him that microphone. But before we go into questions, I want to direct as many people as possible out to the Douglas County Democratic Committee website at dcdems.org. There is a 12-point sheet out there that lists some of the great things that the Board of Commission has done in this administration. And you won't believe some of the things that you will read that they're actually doing. So for all of the push that we give them and for all of the headaches that we give them, they are doing an outstanding job. But go out there and look at those 12 points. I think it's 12. It might be up to 14 now. I think I might have added 2 or whatever. Yeah, we keep adding to it. So because they keep doing the work. So we keep adding to it. So with that, let's get some questions from the audience.
Okay, I'd like to make both a comment and an observation. For those of us, I would like to request that our officers make sure that your voices are projecting, that you're not just kind of talking to each other as we discuss these topics. Excuse me. Some of us who are a little older are experiencing things like diminished hearing. And so, I'm a retired professor, and of course, you always wanted, you always had your most involved students sitting in the front of the classroom, and that was important. They were always the most active, the brightest, always sat in the front of the classroom, but came in a little late, so sitting in the back. But again, so if you just be mindful of projecting your voices so that we can all hear and understand clearly what's being said. The observation that I'd like to make is with regards to the discussion about community services, social services that you talked about, and trying to have a variety of different services in a central facility, central location, so that people could access those very easily. I think, it sounds as though we're talking about the construction of a central facility that could house multiple types of social services. And if indeed that's the idea that we're thinking about considering, then it sounds as though we're talking about the construction of a facility. I don't know that there is one that it currently exists within the county. The buildings that do exist are being used for other purposes. So again, it sounds like we're talking about major construction. I don't know, but But again, you know, that, which means a considerable amount of money and everything else. Perhaps SPLOST could help take care of some of those kinds of needs and interests. But I just wanted to make that observation.
Yeah. So we're not talking about construction. Just from yesterday, some of the conversations that were had, um, not constructing a building, you would be amazed at some of the assets we already have here in the county that we're not utilizing, especially along that Highway 5 corridor where a lot of those buildings are sitting empty. So there are ways that we can do things, right? And we have a ton of nonprofits who, come to the Board of Commissioners and ask, how can we partner with you? How can we see the need in the community? And so looking at maybe housing those 501c3s, asking them to pay $1 for rent because we can't just give, right? It's your money, so we can't just give it like that. But there are many ways that we can, put these resources together for people. We have them, they're just scattered all over. People don't know we have the court system looking for certain things and they don't know that they even exist. And there are people who are out here doing great work. So I just see the need. And after Ernst & Young mentioned it yesterday, I was like, okay, Lord, you are giving, again, data and confirmation of what I see the need is for the county that I live in. So duly noted, it won't be constructed. Government can't do everything, but we can help facilitate. So that's where that private-public partnership comes into play, Dr. Willis. So. Good morning.
Wait. Hold on. As you spoke earlier about a SPLOST funding for some of the infrastructure projects that are going on, you said there's going to be a shortfall as it relates to transportation funds. So would you think that a different type of SPLOST, like a T-SPLOST, would be needed to supplement or to be able to do those other transportation projects?
We have to have a T-SPLOST. And when I say have to, we do. We can't fund it out of the general fund. Again, the SPLOST that we just passed for 2022, it only allows for a finite amount, right? So yeah, in order to address the situation in regards to transportation, in regards to infrastructure, we're gonna have to do T-SPLOST or general obligation bonds. But again, that's up to the citizens. We can't take on debt as a county government unless you all sanction it. So we would have to come, it would have to be voted on. But the need is there. It's a critical need, right? There are more people moving to Douglas County because, quiet as it is kept, yeah, the metro Atlanta area inflation is high, but Douglas County is relatively still affordable. It is, right? That's why we got so many people coming here.
Right.
So in order to address the people who are continually coming, and I ain't going nowhere and you ain't going nowhere, right, Yvonne? We're going to have to address the infrastructure. So how do we do that? And it takes dollars.
Yep.
It takes dollars. And we just can't tax ourselves to death in order to pay for it. So I think a T-SPLOST would be a great idea.
And so with this current SPLOST being, underway, would it be difficult to sell to the voters right now, or is that something that you think would
we would
happen
have
next
to
cycle?
educate?
Okay.
Yeah, we would, because most of the sentiment would be, oh, they're trying to tax us again, right? Yeah. But that's the only way we can pay for the things that we actually need. So, and the good thing about a T-SPLOST is everybody that visits Douglas County would pay into it. It just wouldn't be the citizens who live here. So that's a great way to, extract dollars from people who are coming into our county anyway. We are building the DDS up on Fairburn Road. It's going to be a lot of trucks and people coming in from the off the highway into Douglas County. We need to capture that, right? And when we capture it, we need to put it into something that you and I can see and feel when we're going alongside these roads, right? So that's the type of things that we have to do as a government and you as citizens. We got to educate people on how their taxes are being spent. And to me, if you're really putting it into a purposeful place, people don't mind. So.
Thank you.
you said about developing internship programs within the county administration. When I was in a professional at Dun and Bradstreet, I developed an internship program for high school students where they would intern at Dun and Bradstreet, and instead of earning a stipend, they earned money for college that they was given at the end of the program. But what I'm thinking of now is that if we ask all the corporations in the county to develop their own internships, it would magnify the number of teams that was able, and they would also build relationships with corporations, and it would be one way that they would want to stay in the county. Yes.
Yes.
So I would like to suggest that you consider involving the corporations and getting their buy-in, because I think the more kids that we seed into, the better, not just at the county level, but throughout.
Absolutely. So to that point, that's exactly what Chris Pumphrey talked about yesterday with the Ernst & Young consultant. We have to have those partnerships, right? And so Chris Pumphrey and Breezy, they're over economic development, bringing in the big businesses, right? But it's the small businesses, it's the local businesses, it's the businesses that we already have here that we have to continue to maintain and keep them here in Douglas County, right? And so people are always looking for good workers, right? So I think what you're saying is spot on, and that's what we talked about yesterday. So again, it's a public-private partnership. I think county government, at least in my role, I do three things: legislate, appropriate, and educate, right? So this is, to me, the best part of it, right? I get to educate you all, and you get to go out, and I know you will, Miss Gwen, when you go into these businesses, you're going to ask them, hey, are y'all looking for workers? Would you be open to, helping students understand what you do and utilizing them? That's how we get these things done. It's not just on the backs of government or me and Commissioner Robinson, but it's because you guys hear where our hearts are, and you go out and you help us to advocate for that. So I get to amplify it, right? I get to amplify what you're saying and what others are saying. And so that's how we do that public-private partnership. But you're absolutely right. I hate that the Vine closed, because the Vine was one of those partners who you always saw some teams behind the register. You always saw them getting that, experience of customer relationship, counting money, understanding how to get things out in a timely manner, coming to the tables and asking you, do you need anything? That's how we continue to build a pipeline of good workers, good entrepreneurs, and good people who will stay in our county. So you're spot on. Yeah.
Hi. My name's Free Palazzo. I think it'd be good for us to introduce ourselves when we speak, in case somebody wants to talk to you later. This is wonderful. I mean, when I showed up, there was like 7 people came to our meetings. And we've helped change the county by changing our vision of what that means, okay? So I want to remind everybody, all this good talk, that underneath this discussion is the question, do we want leaders who want to build community? Or do we want leaders who want to put up walls, a silo, and make sure that they don't have to hear about any of this? In other words, small government, giving my taxes back. I need it for my second house in the country. And I want to buy a bigger car. We couldn't do this for the first 15 years I lived here. just getting the buses. We need some more. The thing about building a road is that the people will come if you build a road. So in a way, it's a good thing we got these problems with the road because it affects pollution, it affects livability, and we really got to think the big picture, prioritize. If you want to keep your older people living here, I'm retired. There's a brand new senior living place, assisted living, $7,000 a month. It's really beautiful. They built like a cruise ship. Once you walk in the building, you never have to leave. I mean, there's a beauty parlor in the damn place. Oh, people don't worry about beauty parlors. We're invisible. Mostly nobody sees us.
The ladies do, the ladies do.
No, they're looking for you, Bill. Anyway, so we first of all, let's agree we keep electing people like Tarenia, who didn't want to get into politics. And thank God you did, Tarenia. I mean, you were sent from the Spirit. And that's what we got to worry about. This other stuff will take care of itself. I'm not, Mr. Robinson. You're way ahead of your time. I'm sorry about that. We just got to be patient. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Joe first. Could you speak to the impact of the recent economic development upon our tax base?
So when you say the impact, give me an example. What impact are you seeing?
We've got a lot of construction going on in the county right now, big stuff. The Lions Gate facility and all over the place. If you drive any place, you'll see things going on.
Yeah.
How is that having an impact upon our tax base? Because you just
So-
spoke to the issue.
Yeah,
We need money to do the work.
yeah.
Where's that money coming from? How is the economic development contributing to that, or is it?
It actually is, right? When we have those Norma groups or the Lionsgate or those other big institutions that decide that they're going to make Douglas County home, they are taxed, right? And it takes the burden off of the residential homeowners, right? And also, here's the other thing that people don't think about. When those developments come here, 9 times out of 10, they're not using our school system. They're not using the fire and EMS, right? They're not using all the things that residents are using, right? They are just coming here. They have their workers, and more than likely their workers are going outside of Douglas County. So they're paying into those taxes are used to hold up the sheriff's office, hold up fire and EMS, to hold up our parks and rec, to hold up senior services. All of those taxes goes into things that they're not utilizing. But because they're here, they're paying into the tax base. So that economic development really helps to lessen the burden for us, the residential tax homeowners.
It employs, it's employment,
Absolutely.
creating jobs.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is
Yes.
fantastic.
Yes, it does. It brings jobs, higher wages. Again, we can partner with them, like Ms. Gwen said, in the community for the young people. So absolutely, you're right, Ms. Mickey. So it absolutely is a blessing that these corporations see the Douglas County as a prime place to relocate. And we got many more that's in the pipeline. We're waiting on a big announcement now from Chris Pumphrey. That is, hopefully we get it. Wow, y'all, it's going to set Douglas County out to the masses. So it is a blessing that we're 20 minutes from the airport, we're 20 to 25 minutes from downtown Atlanta. I could not have imagined. I know my grandmother, who was born and raised here in Douglas County, could not imagine how much Douglas County has grown and how diverse we are and how diverse this room is and how diverse we are in thinking and how we're looking forward to elevating our community, right? For everybody, not just for Democrats, not just for Republicans, but for everybody. Because 90% of the decisions that we make on the Board of Commissioners has nothing to do with Republican or Democrat. It has to do with money. It has to do with the dollar bill. I wish people really understood that, right? And it's the quality of life for all of us. It has nothing to do with whether you're Republican or Democrat. I love my Democrats, but at the end of the day, my seniors, my students, everybody, whether they Democrat or Republican, I want you to have the best life that you can because I'm here with you. So I want a good life. So that's
Do you have, this may be too pointed, but do you have a number of what portion of the tax base comes from those sources versus the citizens of the county?
actually Commissioner Robinson is all over that. Can you tell him, Commissioner Robinson? 25% is commercial.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Has that changed significantly or not?
Over the past 20 years I have been here, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. This was a bedroom community. You didn't have a lot of development, but when they put that dark fiber along Thornton Road and the investments and infrastructure, that allowed a lot of people to start looking at Douglas County, because one of the ways that you attract those major corporations is you already have the investment and the infrastructure there so that they can tap into it, because that's less for them to have to come out their pockets to do. And then we create an environment where it's easier for you to do business in Douglas County, right? So when you're pulling these permits, when you're coming before us in planning and zoning, right, you have people that you have put there, right, who see the value and who are thinking 10 years beyond where we are today. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon. Well, it's still morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
My question, I'm very interested in the economic development and businesses that are coming to the county. And I'm just wondering what types of businesses are coming. I think something that we do need, and I'm wondering if that's coming along down the pike, are like mid-level hotels, like the Marriott Courtyard, the Hilton Garden Inns, like mid-level, like True Hotel, those type of things, mid-level to nice hotels, because, when I have guests in, it's like, okay, our house is only so big. I can't even recommend a hotel here. I have to send them to Thornton Road or somewhere like that. So I'm thinking there's like a need out here for those nice, mid-level to upscale, like boutique type hotels, or, long. So if something like that coming along, I'm just curious about that.
There actually is one coming where the Lionsgate development is going on Fairburn Road. There is a hotel that's coming right in that development. That Foxville development, we've called it the Trails, is what we've termed it for economic development. That's a tax allocated district. And so what we do is, you all voted it in. It wasn't just the Board of Commissioners. You all voted it in for us to have a tax allocated district. But it helps those developers to see that their investment within that area comes back to them to help them with their infrastructure and their buildings. So yes, there will be a mid-level hotel coming right off Fairburn Road because of that development. They're going to have a nice place for those actors and actresses and stagehands and all of those people who will be over there. They got to have some place to stay. So yes, we will. Yeah.
I understand there's supposed to be boutique restaurants in that line.
There will be.
Sorry.
Trying to work with technology.
Yeah, right. No, I forgot what I was gonna say. No, there's supposed to be, things within that building, within that complex, to make it more attractive, for the community.
That was the hopes in doing that, right? That with that Lionsgate project being the anchor, we knew that it would attract more of the types of businesses and more of the types of retail shops for the clientele that they will be bringing into Douglas County through Hartsfield Jackson Airport. So yes, that was designed that way.
Good morning. My name is Mary Campbell. I've been away for a while, but I'm glad to be back. I'm retired Navy. I retired Navy in 2004. And I was very fortunate that I did not have to go into the workforce, so I kind of been away from it other than doing volunteer work and stuff. But I think the perception of seniors is, from what I'm hearing, is the wrong perception. Because I'm a senior. I consider myself a young senior. And a 20-year person a year older than me is a mid-level senior. Then you got seniors. Because sometimes I'm just being honest, sometimes in families, in mine, I can tell you, there's 3 generations of seniors. So when we look at seniors and say they don't go to the beauty salon, or they don't do this, or they don't do that, we're looking at a senior maybe, because even our elderly seniors with good health care, they are more active than some of us sitting in here. And probably can walk faster. When you go to the mall, you'll see just how fast those seniors, the seniors walk. And then you got junior seniors. You got middle-aged seniors, okay? And some of us seniors are still working and don't consider ourselves to be seniors. That's right. But you old. Yeah. You just don't consider yourself to be old. So we need to, even in the places where they did not want seniors, I think we need to take away the titles, affordable. If we would say senior village, they would look at it as being upscale. It's all in the mindset. And when you put that word affordable, they thinking low income, crime, all that other stuff. You have to change the wording. Just like with saying Obamacare, nobody wanted it, but Jay Leno did a special. Do you like that Obamacare? Oh, no, I don't want no Obamacare. What about affordable health care? Oh, I think that's good. It's the same. It was
Exactly.
It was the same thing. If we take the titles and put it where it's the wording that it can be attractive to everybody, we wouldn't have these problems or concerns. Because if you're talking about 42 seniors, most of them people, if it's seniors, and not junior seniors or middle-aged seniors, they're not doing all that. The impact of them are not messing up the street so people can go to work at 6:30 in the morning. Yeah. But that word affordable is what threw them off. Yeah. Senior village. Then they think, oh, wow, that's upscale. That's like Florida. Because see, the senior villages in Florida, them people are rich in those villages. Yeah. I'm from Florida. Yeah. So if we change our wording, we can get more people. And then the next thing is, when you mentioned about corporations, I was one of those people also that grew up with summer youth jobs that helped me go into the military to know to be structured before I got there. And I could look at a lot of people that did not have that, and they suffered going into the military. They didn't know how to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. I wish I would have said yeah and no to my mom and dad, but that was just that day and time. But if we were to get the school system involved with the corporation and have a job fair at the school and get those corporations working along with that, then you would attract the ones that want to work, because they would go to the job fair. Love it. You attract them with the school board and corporations working together, because that's how I had my summer youth job. And sir, I agree with you. Seniors need something to do, because I'm a junior senior.
I'm a junior senior.
And I still go to the beauty salon.
Me too.
All right, Maurice, we're going to take 2 more questions because of time. And so,
I remember growing up hearing about Century Village, Pembroke Pines. Guess where I moved from to come here? Pembroke Pines. Century Village is a great place. It is huge. Best golf course around Pembroke Pines. So you Senior Village and poof.
Okay.
Rosetta Hyman, my first time being here. I would like to know, how can I get involved with the housing? I'm from Michigan, and I was a housing agent for Section 8 for the county, for the state. And I would like to get involved. I didn't know all this was going on until Mavis and Mickey invite me, and I just want to get involved. And to let you know, there is a program at New Manchester that's called AVID, that if you can get involved with that, that was perfect. We only have one high school in the county that have habits. It's investment due to individual determination. And the seniors that graduated this year, they got Alexa last year, they got tablets. But if we can get involved and get them on that stage and have them stay in the county, they're going to college, but we want them to come back.
Yes.
And I'd just like to get involved.
Yes.
That's all. And I really would like to get involved with the housing.
Yes. See me after this.
Got one more question.
Yeah, I have two small questions.
Yes.
Okay, y'all had the splosh last time.
Yes.
It was included in the Lee Road, expanding
The widening.
Beaumont.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that wasn't done because you ran out of money.
Yes.
And I was under the impression that you all was gonna do it under this splosh, but nobody mentioned that, and I was wondering about that.
Okay.
And my other question is, on the senior, housing that they're building, I was wondering if they can build a garage for people that do have a car. They can park their car there. If they don't have a car, they can make it a storage area for their unit. And that way you won't have that congestion and that debris and stuff all over the place.
So, to answer your first question,
Okay.
the widening of Lee Road will continue. We have state funding for that. That's something that the Board of Commissioners has already dealt with. We're continuing to deal with that. We also have to put a spine road back there. So the widening of Lee Road is going to happen. And over to Beaumont, again, may take the T-Splosh, may take some maneuvering, but it will happen because we have to connect it. We have to connect all those districts. So hopefully it will happen in my lifetime, in your lifetime, but it's going to happen. Trust and believe.
But
It
what I was
has
saying,
to.
I thought the splosh was already allocated to the splosh.
It costs a lot, but Commissioner Robinson is going to get you. I'm going to let him take the mic in a minute. To answer your second question, it's a private developer. We granted the planning and zoning, right? We gave them the designation to do what they needed to do. So it is up to them. I can tell you the one that I visited that he is modeling it on did not have garages for those seniors, but there was ample parking. So,
But see, the only thing about it, when their cars are out there, a lot of times they don't drive it as much, and people break into their little cars,
yeah.
and they don't have a car to use.
I understand. So next time a developer comes to me, I'm gonna ask that question because I'm gonna think about you.
Okay.
Yeah, but great point. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Don't lock your doors. I mean, don't lock your car door.
Even if somebody bang in the car, you have a person that's parked out there, another person coming, and they don't see them, and they hit your car.
I hear you. I hear
One
you.
senior over the other. If they have a garage, it won't happen.
I hear you.
Just
I hear
simple
you.
as that.
Thank you for that. Commissioner Robinson will address the widening of Lee Road over to Beaumont, over to Chapel Hill. It will take you all the way up. Go ahead, Commissioner Robinson. Do you have the mic for him, Maurice?
Okay. I'll be very short and brief, and Madam Vice Chair did such a wonderful job. Remember, it's costly. Lee Road is only 2.5 miles. It costs $25 million by itself. It took federal funds to help get that done. Now, this current SPLOST that you guys just approved, we're only putting in around $30 million for the whole county. It's expensive, guys. And this has been pent up over time. So what we want you guys to understand is that you got to be patient. We know what the vision is. We have the blueprint. We're very clear on what needs to be done. We have our priorities, but we can't tax you to make up for it in your lifetime. We're not going to get there. I don't want to set the wrong expectation. It would take $250 million to redo this entire county. Now, we could spend $150 million on jail in context and burn all of our money, but it's going to take time to catch up. So we've got priorities. We will get there. You can't put everything in just my district. I can't take all $50 million and do one road and nobody else gets anything else. So it's about balancing act. And so there's priorities. So I got it this time. We got to go to District 3 next time, District 1, etc. But we've got to be careful. I want to make one comment. We got to balance Douglas, guys. We're the 12th most populous and the 8th most dense. we're tight. We just came back from Savannah. We've seen everybody spread out. I mean, we got people that other counties out of 159 counties that have population of 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. That runs Georgia. We caught up because we're in this metro area. Get outside of metro and see everybody else that we that and what their lifestyles are. And so I'm saying that to say, okay, guys, I hear this growth. I hear y'all. Y'all got to balance this thing. You don't be too much commercial. Like I mean, we sprawled before with all the houses. Do not want to sprawl with this commercial. It's going to overtake. We're too small of a footprint. So it's got to be balanced. You got to balance this thing out. I ain't going to be here in a year and a half. Y'all better get this. Don't let this thing get away from y'all. I appreciate this excitement. I appreciate your heart. Douglas is a gym, but you've got to design this. But don't get caught up. This will get away from you. Developers will come and they will eat this thing. Y'all got to be very careful. Yeah, you intentionally put your foot down for the seniors. Put it down for the juniors. You shouldn't have to rationalize what you're going to do for them. That's what it's going to be. That's all I got to say. I yield. Thank you. I hope that answers your question.
Let's give our commissioners a round of applause.